Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Disney Cruise Line Show, a DIS Unlimited podcast. I am your captain of this cruise through conversation, Rhino, and joining me are my co-captains, Dreams Unlimited travel agent Elaine Edwards.
Hi, friends.
And Dreams Unlimited travel agent Chris Vorbeck.
Yo ho! Can I be a first? I'll be a first mate rather than a co-captain. Co-captain is too much pressure for me.
I do think being first mate does require you to have a peg leg, so we will talk about.
All right, I'll stay co-captain. I'm not. That's a step too far, so to speak.
At least on my ship, it requires that. But I just want to let everybody know this and everything that we do here is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They are expert at helping you plan the perfect vacation. When you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you help support the channel and all the content that we produce here. So check them out, Dreams Unlimited Travel, for a free, no obligation quote today. I did say vacation because I want you to know that they don't just book Disney cruise lines. They book other cruise lines as well. But we're going to be talking about Disney Cruise Line today. And guess what? If you book with them, you can receive up to $1,000 shipboard credit as well as a cruise gift basket for any cruise you book through Dreams. So it doesn't just have to be the Disney one. What a deal. I'm not going to keep making the joke I make in every show. Maybe I will. I don't want to, beat a dead horse. But today we're talking about something very, very exciting. We've got a ton of new information about Disney Cruise Line's ship that will be setting sail next December, and that is the Disney Adventure. This one is setting sail out of
Singapore.
We got a lot of information to run through about this, and I'm not going to lie, I'm actually pretty excited about a bunch of the stuff that came out. And I'm not just saying that because it's like, this is the Cruise Line show, but I genuinely, when I was reading through this, I did a lot of these. Like I want to go on this ship.
I have to? Can I tell you, it's the same. Like when we first kind of heard about this and heard about what it was going to be, I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But after reading through all the announcements, I'm like, okay, how we get on that ship?
Well, this ship is going to be so different. I mean, it is completely, and we should probably go through a little bit of the history. Disney bought this ship. It was going to be another cruise line company's ship, and that cruise line went out of business, and so they bought this ship at pennies on the dollar and are making it a Disney ship. So it's very different. It is also big. This is a big ship. It is, and I wrote down the numbers because I'm not good at numbers. It is 208,000 gross tons. I have no idea what that means other than I know the Disney Wish is 144,000 gross tons. So it is like double the just overall size. It is 66,700 passengers. It is 1,122 feet long. This is it is 19 decks. So this is just bigger. You could fit the Disney Wish in terms of passengers, the Disney Wish and the Disney Magic inside this ship and still have space for passengers. So,
well, that was going to be my question because when I saw the 6,700 passengers, I was like, how many passengers are on like one of the bigger ships? How many?
2,000 and 4,000 respectively. So,
however, remember that is based on double occupancy. There are rooms that have 3, 4, 5 in them. So the ship could actually have 6,000 passengers, not 4,000. Just saying.
Yeah.
So everybody keeps that in mind.
This is going to be a very different ship, and one of the big differences is this is actually going to they'll have lands. It's like visiting kind of a theme park. Well, it's based in Singapore, number one, so this is not going to be something that you do as a regular cruise. You have to get to Singapore, and then it is only, at least in its inaugural season so far, right now, it is doing 3 and 4 night cruises that don't stop any place. So you're on the ship for 3 or 4 nights. It's not, if you're looking to cruise around Asia, it's not this kind of ship. This is a place where you get to go and, you get to experience the ship. The ship is big enough that it may take 3 or 4. You may have to do a back-to-back in order to fully experience the ship. So it's going to be a very different experience.
Yeah. Well, you answered one of my questions, which was do we know anything about itineraries? But I guess no, because you are just setting sail into the water and then coming back, which is still great because this ship, like you've said, is huge. And we learned about there's 7 themed areas that are unique to the Disney Adventure. Elaine, do you want to talk about some of those?
Yeah. So the thing as well, that I think we kind of have to remember is the question is, okay, is this the way that Disney's going? Is Disney going towards these mega ships? Because when I look at this and I looked at all of the renderings and I looked at everything it had, it made me think of like the Icon with Royal Caribbean. And it's like, whereas if you compare that to all of our other Disney ships, they're very different ships. So is Disney going to go this way in the future? My personal feeling is that this is going to be just kind of like a one-off situation, and that we shouldn't expect this for the future, and that this is going to be like, when we say this one has a roller coaster, it may be the only ship that has a roller coaster on it. So it's like, that's my personal opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You've seen a lot of discussions on the boards and stuff about people looking at what, we got this announcement that there are going to be all these new ships coming, and people are looking at the shipbuilder and seeing, okay, what's in there and what it said. And the simple fact that we just don't know yet. I'm sure we will hear at some point. Well, we will hear at some point, but we don't know yet. I'm guessing that this particular ship they're probably not going to replicate this one. I don't know if anyone else has looked at the pictures of this, but it's not the most attractive ship. And I'm used to very pretty. The Disney ships are all gorgeous. This one will have the Disney colors, but I don't think it's the most attractive. But the elements of it, I'm really and for me, this will be the first ship that has this entry. It will have a castle along one whole wall of this internal area, and they're going to really use that space as almost doing shows rather than shows up on the top deck. This will be the space that you see all your shows. It's going to be really cool.
It's funny you said that, because I actually thought, I was surprised at how much they made it look like a Disney ship, but I guess maybe I fell for the color scheme. That's all.
The colors are, but the ship itself is, at least to me, I'm a picky ship guy, so some of them are just not very, and this one doesn't fit in. But I'm really excited. So they have this. They're also, at least I haven't seen mentioned yet, they don't have, there's a statue in the center of all the ships. This one doesn't appear to have that. Now you can see in the Disney Imagination Garden, there is a kind of it's not a statue, but there's a Sorcerer Mickey in there. So maybe that will be the kind of experience that we have when you actually walk in. I think that's where you'll walk in and first get that kind of, it will be kind of like the Grand Hall on the Disney Wish. I don't know. We're kind of, we have details of the space, but we don't know what the flow is going to be like. We haven't seen a deck plan and things like that. So we're kind of guessing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's as Rhino was saying, there's 7 lands on this ship. And so that's actually the first one. So we can talk about that one. So Disney Imagination Garden, it does say that this is where guests will begin their journey. And to kind of put it in your head what this looks like, it looks like a park, and it's in the center of the ship. And it's open air, and then there's actually staterooms on both sides looking in towards it. So when you are looking at this ship, you're going to have staterooms that look at the ocean, and you're going to have staterooms that look in towards some of these different lands, which is going to give you more variety as far as booking as well.
I believe there are also staterooms that look off the back of the ship, and at the back there's a pool, and they're going to have a Moana show there in the pool. I mean, it will be a pool for most of the time, but they will have a Moana show back there. And how cool would it be to sit on your veranda and watch the Moana show from your veranda? I mean, that seems pretty cool to me, but.
Yeah. So that's at Wayfinder Bay. The interesting thing that I also, from looking at the rendering, is that it's not like pool loungers. It's like tables and chairs. It's like bistro tables and chairs, which I thought was an interesting choice, rather than like pool loungers. But you know, that's different. And here's the thing with that: I think everybody really needs to remember that this is not targeted towards the U.S. population. this is targeted towards the Asian market. And so there are going to be a lot of things on this ship that are going to be culturally different than what we are used to in our ships that we look at here. So I think that is something that a lot of people need to kind of remember, and why they're like, well, why won't it come here? Why won't it be in the US? It's not built for us. It's built for over there. So
right.
I mean, that makes me more excited to try and do it someday,
I know. And that's the thing. I actually have a pretty large number of clients that are like, I want to be on it. It's like, okay, let's go. So
yeah, for real.
I have a good friend who lives in Singapore, and he's having a kid soon. So what better excuse do I have? I have to go and visit him and then go on the ship. So
yeah, really. So moving right along, we are one more thing before we leave. Let's go back into Imagination Garden. They apparently are going to have a whole bunch of shows happening in this garden. This is where the set sail show is going to be, which is your everybody's on board. They blow the horn and then we take off. That's what's going to be here. There's going to be a Captain Jack Sparrow show. There's going to be Mickey's Color Spin Party. There's going to be a Baymax show. There's going to be another adventure show. They have a ton of shows planned for this area, which is kind of really cool.
And I was reading about the Baymax show. Apparently it's like an exercise show. So you get to exercise and work out with Baymax.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
I know. Wow.
You got to work off all them Mickey bars somehow.
I know they're having a Marvel show. Is that in that space?
Yes. The Marvel show. Yeah. When I said adventure, I think I didn't write down the word Marvel, but yeah, it is a Marvel show.
Yeah, it was the concept art for that was cool. So
I think it'll be a different Marvel show than we've seen in other places too. Is from everything that I've been seeing. They haven't really said, but I think it'll be a brand new show. So which will be kind of cool.
So,
is there a Marvel show on the other ships?
They for Marvel Day at Sea, they do a deck party at night, and so. But I think this will be different than that one.
Well, even more reason for me to go there. That's fine.
One of the other lands is San Francisco. I'm a big Baymax fan. I love Big Hero 6. So they're going to have a San Francisco street. And it's going to have there'll be dining, there'll be entertainment inspired by Big Hero 6. I believe they have a market area, which I'm guessing will be stores. So it and it's all themed. And I think they have I almost said casino. The big debate was this ship going to have a casino on board? By the way, there's nothing in there about that yet. So if they are, they're keeping it until the very last minute. They're not really telling us. But it'll have an arcade for kids to do all that kind of stuff. So
something really cool I saw about the arcade is that it's going to have interactive simulators. But not just interactive simulators for one person. You can actually put 4 people in there. So you're all working together in this interactive game. So I'm really excited to see what that's about. They're also this is where the movie theaters are going to be. Right. And just like on all the rest of the ships, they're going to do first run movies. So anything that you can see in the theater is going to be playing over there. What language will it be in? I don't know.
It probably won't be in English.
That isn't a question about this entire ship that is unanswered at this point. Is that it's things that we're going to be working through. Is what language is everything going to be in? What is the currency that we're going to be using? There's some things that we got to work out here.
Yeah. Yeah,
we should. I don't like turning these things into ads, but we can book these for you. Dreams Dreams Unlimited Travel can book these. I think we said at the top, you still get your shipboard credit, all those kinds of things. We're able to do this just the way we are for other Disney Cruise Line ships. So if you want to go, let one of the Dream Team know, and we'll make this happen.
The area. I also think there's an area on here that looks really cool that I didn't read a lot about, but there's that Pixar kind of Finding Nemo looking area.
Yes, that looks gorgeous. Yeah, that looks really gorgeous. So this is going to be kind of there's going to be restaurants in here. There's going to be bars, cafes. There's going to be shopping. Like, it's just kind of like a mall. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's an area with a lot of things. But it's going to be indoor. But it's going to be.
But it looks like you're almost in an. It looks like you're in an aquarium, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks really amazing. I hope it's a really cool space. So.
And it said they used the word like ever changing as far as this space.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
and it says so it says mesmerizing retreat transforms into a bioluminescent paradise as the sun sets. I mean,
that's cool. See, that sounds real.
I think this is going to be gorgeous. I think it's going to be really gorgeous.
Yeah.
One of the other lands is called Town Square. This is going to be kind of the princess area. So it will be a place where you have what they call magical realms of Disney princesses. So they'll have a statue of Snow White. It will, it looks, and you can tell from the pictures, it looks really enchanting. But I think this will be probably where you have all the princess stuff going on. Maybe if they do a royal tea or something like that.
Do we think this is like the atrium kind of situation?
That's what I was thinking too.
Because there's a chandelier at the top.
Yeah.
Well, the character statue, and
there's going to be a bronze statue of Snow White. I think this is going to be like this ship's version of the atrium.
Yeah. I mean, the wishing well and everything, I'm like, that's a pretty significant fixture, I feel like. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they even say guests can dine like Disney royalty. So there must be one of the dining areas is right off there, maybe. I don't know. We'll talk about dining in a minute. But so it's
quaint cafes and lounges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
quaint.
Whimsical keepsakes of delightful shops.
Right.
There's two areas on the top deck of the ship as well that are the one. I feel like we'll save the one that I'm most jazzed about for the last. So there's a Toy Story one, which is pretty cool. Listen, I love Toy Story, so we've got Toy Story Place up here, which looks like there's going to be some like fun water slides, family pool, whirlpools. They say there's like a flying saucer splash zone. There's a Toy Story splash pad for the little ones, and Woody and Jesse's wild slides. I don't know. This looks cool. It looks like it says there's going to be 2 funnel vision screens up there. Is that most of the ships only have one, right?
Yes.
All of them have one.
Two movies at once. It's going to be.
That kind of tells you how big this area is going to be, and how big this ship is going to. This is going to be a huge freaking ship.
Yeah, you know what's that thing where they talked about where they were trying to say like everybody mentally, when you give a number, you can sometimes mentally like quantify it, like 1 million you can quantify sort of in your head. And I read an article once where it was like people don't actually know how to correctly quantify 1 billion. And it's like one of the, like you have to relate it into a tangible object. And they're like, okay, it would take, whatever. I can't remember the thing. And so it's not really going to read very well, this example. But I do feel like this ship is sort of that example where you're like, well, it's big. And I'm like, well, like tangibly, let me explain it to you. And so I think it's going to feel like, sometimes every now and then there's a sci-fi movie and you're like, wow, this spaceship is so big.
Independence Day, right?
Train. It's something like otherworldly. And I'm so like, I like hope my feet touch the deck someday over there. So, but we do have one more.
They will. We're being positive and we're manifesting this.
We're manifesting.
We're all going to be going and it's going to be amazing.
Yes. The thing that I am when we make it out there, I think the thing I'm most excited for me is this Marvel landing area.
Yeah.
Right. Because this is the roller coaster you had talked about before is up here. There's going to be 3 attractions up here. There is the Iron Cycle test run, which is a coaster that's going to go around the top decks like 30 feet in the air. There's the PIM Quantum Racers, which sounds like, in the concept art, it looks really tiny, but it sounds like it's going to be.
Is it going to be like go-karts?
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, yeah, like that. So I was like, okay, that's fun. And then this Groot Galaxy Spin, I'm like, is that like a Kuka arm thing that's just going to spin you around?
It's going to be Dumbo. It's like a Dumbo ride.
Oh,
it's literally what it is.
Cool.
Yeah. They put Dumbo on the ship, but it's Groot.
But it's Groot. Hey, listen, and I think there was like some real intense alliteration used for this because they were like the boppin' beats, something like that. I can't remember. I read it in another show, and I was like, wow, Disney really loves to do those like real bop, bop, bop. Yeah. But I mean, lots of things to look forward to. Those are just the land. Let's talk about some of the dining because we learned about that too.
Yes, they will have rotational dining. Unlike on because this ship is so big, you get there will be multiple restaurants in your dining rotation. So there are not one but two kind of animator palettes. One is animator palette. One is called animator's table. So it's double the fun, I guess. There's another rotational dining where you'll get either a Hollywood Spotlight Club, which kind of is Hollywood glitzy, or you get the Navigators Club, which will be kind of the golden age of cruising. So there'll be 3 different rotations, but there'll be two paths in those rotations. So it'll be very interesting to see. A lot of different dining locations. It'd be really cool.
Well, this was also when we were learning about some of this stuff, because we learned one of the other restaurants, there's Animator's Palette, and then there's Animator's Table. And at Animator's Palette, they're saying, as the evening unfolds, this elegant dining room transforms from black and white to vibrant, full-spectrum colors surrounded by artwork and props from favorite Disney and Pixar movies. Every detail plays homage to the magic of filmmaking. But then Animator's Table, it says guests' hand-drawn sketches come alive as vibrant animations right before their eyes, which I've done that on one of the ships before. It's on
Dream. It's on all the other than the Wish, it's on all the 4 ships. Dream, Wonder.
And so it's one of those where it's like, oh, they're doing 2 of this sort of a thing.
I think the way to really think about this and wrap your mind around it is there's still basically 3 restaurants, and you will rotate between the 3 restaurants. However, you may end up on one side of the restaurant, or you might end up on the other side of the restaurant, which will have a slightly different variation. It's going to be like 1923 on the Wish, where one side is something and the other side is something, and they're like a little bit different. I have breaking news. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Dun, 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 dun. Just got the email.
I know. We need the thing. Yeah.
Yes. Breaking news is that from John Magi is that it is going to be U.S. dollars as far as the onboard currency. So. Yeah.
Well, there we go. We answered that question.
When we will be quoting and booking this, we will be quoting and booking it in U.S. dollars rather than like charging international fees to your credit card or something like that. So
that's good
U.S. dollars. Yeah. Now we have the answer to the question that we had at the top of the show. So.
Well, there you go. We do have, there is one more, like Elaine was saying, about the variation of the restaurants thing, like the Hollywood Spotlight Club, that's supposed to be like golden age of Hollywood, but then Navigators Club is the golden age of cruising, and it's like similar themed. Chris mentioned those, and then Animators Palette and Table. And then we also have Enchanted Summer Restaurant, and at Enchanted Summer Restaurant, 2 distinct dining rooms inspired by Disney's Tangled and Frozen await, letting guests revel in the charm of a cozy village dining hall where the joy of summer is everlasting. But we also learned about this other, and we were talking about this ahead of time. There was one called the Pixar Market Restaurant, and that's, you might have guessed it, themed to the spirit of Pixar Animation Studios. But by day, it offers buffet-style breakfast and lunch service, and then in the evening, it's going to offer, quote-unquote, an exceptional dinner menu. So
that gives you the alternative if you don't want to go to main dining room one night, because let's face it, there's a lot of food on a cruise ship, and I'll tell you, by like day 3 and 4, like I'm full.
Well, I think that's the thing to remember too, is that, like you said in the beginning, it's 3 and 4 night cruising, right? So you're just like, okay, like you gotta train your body for this one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people have asked. There are premium dining options. Everyone's favorite, Palo Trattoria. That Is that what it's called on all the ships? I just call it Palo.
No, that's just this one. It's Palo on every ship, except for the Wish, it's Palo Steakhouse. And so Palo Trattoria is new, but I'm sure it's going to have all of your favorites.
Oh, the description is basically like an artfully crafted menu featuring antipasti, pastas, pizzas, seafood, and steaks, all paired with curated selection of fine Italian wines and bold craft beers. That sounds pretty similar to me.
Yeah.
I think the one that was like really, really cool is this Mike and Sully's eatery.
Why is this not called Harryhausen's?
Right.
Exactly.
It's literally the restaurant from the movie. And it even says that in our description that this is what it's been. Why is it not called Harryhausen's?
Well, that's the thing. And like, why are we not immediately getting this in California Adventure too? But this, what's interesting about this restaurant,
what if they in Epcot they rethemed
in Japan?
Yeah,
the Tapenito.
Tapenito. Tapenito.
Yeah,
they could retheme Tapenito Harryhausen's.
We are getting that Monsters Inc. roller coaster somewhere at Walt Disney World, so it kind of still would be like we need more Monsters Inc.
We do
representation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, wow, that really went off the rails.
Listen, hey, it's just exciting because I think what's really cool about this restaurant is they're saying it's like in Monsters Inc. But I read that it was going to offer like distinct different experiences. Like there was the Japanese steakhouse, there was the teppanyaki room, and then there was also a sushi and a sake bar. So I'm like, girl, that's the one I'm excited for.
Here's the thing. They've put this in, they've listed this next to Palo, but at one of the renderings I noticed that actually had people in it, it had kids in the rendering, and it does not say on our description of this that it has to be 18 and older.
Right.
I think this is going to be a family restaurant that any age can go to, but it's considered premium dining, so there's going to be an upcharge.
Well, it does say in there family friendly restaurant. So
there you go. You read words that I didn't read. So I'm over here like dissecting renderings, being like, "That's a little girl." So
that's a little girl. That's your little girl.
That's literally what I said to myself. I'm like, that's a little girl. They're going to let kids in that restaurant.
Okay, so this other one that says premium dining and lounges, though, this Buccaneer Bar. Guests can kick up their boots and celebrate with hearty cheer as they sip on high-end brews and watch live sporting events. In swashbuckling style at this pirate-inspired bar, one of the many lounges on board. The concept art for this as a pirate-inspired bar, I mean, I guess it's got like a little bit of like red drapery and stuff. It's not as over the top as I thought it was going to be. Am I the only one who feels like that?
No, I agree with you. It seemed like more muted. I thought of it kind of as the Meridian Bar, which is on the Dream and the Fantasy, which sits between Palo and Remy, and it is nautical but not over the top, and so that's the kind of way that I took this. I think this to me feels like it's an adult space, and so it may be a little. It won't be as over the top, but we'll see.
Well, let's talk about quick service dining. Who wants this one?
I have one question. Yeah. Again, we do not have clarification, and maybe I'll get an email from John by the end of the show. Will there be pirate night on this cruise?
I mean, I don't know.
Will there be fireworks on this cruise?
Yeah.
I have to assume, because, correct me if I'm wrong, please, the internet, did not this side of the world invent fireworks?
Right.
But do they have those in those parks, in the Asian parks? Do they have?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Fireworks? Okay. All right, well, I'll just run through the quick service dining really quick too, because we learned about 4 different places here, which I actually thought was cool because some of this is themed after. I mean, I'll just say it. I don't want to draw this out. We have Grandma Tala's Kitchen, which is inspired by Disney's Moana, and this location features Asian and South Pacific flavors served up fast. We've got Mowgli's Eatery, inspired by Disney's The Jungle Book. That one was a surprise to me. And this one serves rich Indian, vegetarian, and regional dishes. Yep. And then we have Stitch's Ohana Grill. The go-to dining spot features classic American fare with a touch of island flair. And then Bewitching Boba and Brews, which I think this place looks really cool.
Villains.
And an electric cafe inspired by Disney villains. Guests can enjoy delightfully wicked boba concoction. I just love the coloring in there. It's like all that neon. And
they said it was like Ursula themed, I think.
Yeah, I thought I'd read that somewhere too. Because, I mean, in the concept art, you can see like the Ariel, like the shell is on the counter and stuff. And her picture's right in the middle. And this fish everywhere. So, I don't know, but that's exciting.
There's a couple more that is not on this, on the thing that we're all kind of looking at and referring to as we go through this. There's a couple more like lounges and things that are not listed on this one.
Right.
So there's Cosmic Kebabs, inspired by Marvel Studio Miss Marvel. This quick service restaurant will offer a flavorful menu of pitas and kebabs. And then there is... Oh, we're going to have to go to a
Palo
completely
Cafe.
different... There's Palo Cafe.
Right.
But then I also saw there's another one that had like the Evil Queen from Snow White. But it's not even listed on this one.
Yeah, there was a bar. There was a hold on. I definitely remember. Okay.
And it's different. It's different from this Bewitching Boba.
For 6,700 guests. Goodness knows how many bars are on that ship. My goodness.
It's called Spellbound. It is a shadowy lounge inspired by the Queen from Disney animation Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and serves up delicious potions and cocktails. That I originally thought that Buccaneer Bar concept art was that, and then I was like, no, there's a ship behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
can we talk shows for 2 seconds?
Yes, because there is a character featured in one of these shows that I don't think gets enough love.
Yes. Well, there's two. So there's two. One is the same show that's on the Disney Wish. This is the Disney Sees the Adventure, which feels like it's a Disney adventure. It felt like that was natural to be there. But there's a brand new show that they're going to have. It's called Remember. It will be playing in the Walt Disney Theater, and it features Wall-E and Eve, which...
they never in anything. That's awesome.
They never do anything. And it's all about them being in love, and they're kind of trying to find their way, and they call on Coco, and they call on the Little Mermaid, and they call on Aladdin to help them experience that. So I think it will be one of these shows where they rope in a bunch of different, different movies to tie it all together. I love Disney shows on the ships, so I'm very, very much. I can't wait to eventually see it.
Listen, if we can get a Wall-E meet and greet going, I would be.
Well, and from I can't tell from the concept art whether that is like, is Wall-E going to be a puppet, or is it I can't tell what it is, but.
He better be a machine, and they better clean up the garbage in the auditorium after the show.
But and from Coco, the coloring is all there, so it looks really cool.
I'm very excited for that. We did learn that there's some shows returning from other ships too, right?
That dang Beauty and the Beast thing, isn't it?
Oh my God! Enough with Beauty and the Beast.
Why is it on every ship?
And we get the Moana show that'll be kind of a water show on the back, which will be great. And then a bunch of
Adventure.
Sees the Adventure.
That's the one I think I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and we already said, like you said in the there's going to be some like shows also in that the gardens area too.
Yeah.
The
Imagination Gardens.
They got like 7 shows that are going to be in there.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, this is cool. And those shows look cool because I think in the garden area, they said there was like a LED panel wall that's like 3 decks high or something like that, or multiple panels or something. And I was like, okay, I'm you got my attention. Yeah. So I know we also got a first look at the staterooms. Did you want to talk about that? Because I feel like I'm sure because like we've said over and over again that Disney bought this ship from another cruise line. Yeah. I kind of expected drastic looking differences in some of these staterooms, and I'm not going to lie, They look kind of like a Disney stateroom to me, at least.
Well, yeah, there are a couple of them that you can tell that's like, oh, that's a little different. And I do think there will be differences in the staterooms.
Can I ask you about one specifically?
Okay.
There is one in this article, but I'm not sure if it's just I don't really understand it. There's 2 bunk beds. There's a bed, and a bed. Yeah, one on top of the other, and then one right next to it with a little tiny side table.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
If that's family or if that's adult.
I don't know what that is. We do not yet have stateroom like layouts as far as how they was like.
I mean, it's got a window, which is nice. Layout. Yeah.
However, I want everybody to know that the stateroom categories, like the numbers and things, are very different on this ship. So, like, if you're sailing Disney Cruise Line all the time and you always sail in 7As or whatever, it's different on this ship. Like, you cannot go by the category numbers on the other ships. These are different, and they are very different. Let's, for a second, before we get into the other ones, let's talk about concierge, because concierge is going to be massive on this ship. They have their own deck. There are 13 different categories of concierge on this ship. Unlike the other ships that only have
13.
Yeah, correct. The other ones only have like 3 or 4. This one has 13 different categories, and all the way from royal suites, they've got your 1 bedrooms, and then there's a whole bunch of different mix of ocean view suites and garden view verandas and ocean view verandas. And like, there is even a concierge inside stateroom. So they're going to be doing a lot of concierge on this ship. And like I said, they have their own deck. They're going to have multiple pools. There's going to be a spa. They have their own secluded soundtrack.
No, they have their own retail. They have their own retail stores
their own exclusive fitness center, the concierge lounge. Like, there's going to be a lot going on in concierge if that floats your boat and your budget. So, you guys both book cruises all the time. I'm sure you know that there are people who are like, this is how I have to travel. You know. Yeah.
But it's interesting. Yeah. Secluded sun deck. I just think we learned about 2 of the suites too, didn't we? Am I crazy? Aren't there 2
I
suites?
saw pictures of suites, but I didn't learn any specifics. So maybe you learned specifics. Why don't you tell us right now? Educate us.
2 exquisite royal suites inspired by Disney Animation's Frozen, each with a spacious living room, a dining area with bar, a large main bedroom, a kids' room with bunk beds, 2 en-suite bathrooms, and an extended veranda with private whirlpool and lounge chairs. Each decadently appointed and exquisitely themed royal suite will neighbor a 1-bedroom sister suite, which can be booked separately or connected together to accommodate larger groups. So there is the Elsa Royal Suite, and there is the Anna Royal Suite.
And let's just say, if this is what floats your boat, Elaine at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
Oh, yeah. If you got that money, you're doing one of these for a 4-day cruise. My God. Good Lord. What is money? What is life?
This is one of these situations, though, I can imagine if you're on board the ship for the entire time, you're not getting off. It might actually
makes sense. It actually does make sense. Right? Having concierge actually does make sense on this ship, because exactly what you said. It's all days at sea, and if you are somebody that prefers not to be around crowds and maybe and maybe you're Disney adults and you're traveling without kids, this is a really great option for you. Like, I do think that there is going to be a lot of people that are going to want to do this.
Yeah,
it is a good option.
What's interesting, I'm just reading through this too, or what excites me a lot about this ship is, I will probably never travel concierge, but I'm looking at one of these perks with this concierge spa and these spa suites. And there are apparently 2 superior spa suites that will offer Disney Cruise Line's most premium and customizable customizable spa experiences ever. They're designed for large groups to relax and indulge together. These refined environments will each feature indoor and outdoor lounge areas with expansive ocean views, salon seating for hair and nail services, a treatment room, and experimental, that is not the word. Experiential shower with ambient lighting, and if you want to go experiment in the shower on the Disney cruise ship, that's on you. But booked separately or together, these suites offer concierge guests the utmost indulgence on board the Disney Adventure. There's the practically perfect spa suite, which I'm wearing a shirt that's perfect for this, inspired by Disney's Mary Poppins, will be a cozy and inviting space blending distinctive English elegance with decidedly whimsical embellishments like an upside-down umbrella light fixture in a garden-themed treatment room recalling the Jolly Holiday scene from the classic film. And then there's the Hops Haven Spa Suite, which is inspired by Disney's Zootopia and will evoke the fantastical boroughs of the titular city from downtown Savannah Central to the Rainforest District. That's cool. I love that there's theming from so many different Disney things. What's the one coming out that we kind of were like, it feels a little more jumbled? That's
Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny, which listen, I'm a Marvel person, so I'm excited for the Destiny. But and that one has the Black Panther statue in it and everything. So obviously,
Did you say the words large groups? Like large groups?
Yeah, I know. That's the part
when I go to a spa, I do it because I want to get it away from everybody else. Like,
yeah, in my head, I'm thinking of a different type of spa that involves large groups.
I'm questioning. I'm questioning.
Hey man, if you want to leave your keys in the Mary Poppins fishbowl when you come in, that's on you. Yeah. Can we talk? Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to talk about booking windows. And
yes.
And these all so the inaugural cruise will take place on December 15th, 2025. Again, leaving out of Singapore, 2 days at sea. This ship is going to be doing 3 and 4 night. There will be an occasional 5-night cruise, all leaving from Singapore, all having no stops. So you're enjoying the ship. And you may remember Disney did that out of Europe in the early when they were coming out of pandemic, calling them Magic Days at Sea. So
they do it in Australia too. Like
and they do it in Australia as well.
Some of the Australian cruises do this as well.
The early Pearl Castaway Club members can book starting, it says Wednesday, December 4th. That is Singapore time. So Singapore knows what's going to happen. So it's actually at 7 p.m. Eastern time is when things open for us. It's 8 a.m. Singapore time. So it's actually Tuesday, December 3rd for U.S.
Oh, wow, Chris, I'm glad you're here because I did not know that.
Again, I have a friend in Singapore, and it's great. While he's having his coffee, I'm having a glass of wine. While I'm having my cup of tea, he's having his glass of wine. So it works out well.
Singapore time.
Singapore time.
Where does it say that? Where does it say that?
I
see it. I see it. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. I was just
and then it marches down. So and we'll put this up, and you can find it on Dreams Unlimited Travel, so you can find it. But Thursday, December 5th for Platinum, Friday, December 6th for Gold, Monday, December 9th for Silver, and bookings open for everybody on Tuesday, December 10th. If you're a Golden Oak member or a Disney World Club 33, you can book on Thursday, December 5th, and then Disney Vacation Club members and Adventures by Disney Adventure Insiders, if you've ever done an ABD before, you can all book on Monday, December 9th. So it follows the similar kind of that we've dealt with on U.S. cruises, so it's not – some things are the same, which is nice.
And like we've had a lot of ships come out recently, and they all have their maiden voyages. This one is going to follow the same terms and conditions that we've been seeing ever since the Wish. Right. That there is a 20%. This is just the maiden voyage, y'all. Just the maiden voyage. 20% deposit. It is non-refundable. If you wish to add Disney's vacation plan, Disney's vacation protection plan. Only guests from the U.S. may add it, and you have to buy it and pay for it along with your 20% deposit at the time of booking. The deposit for this maiden voyage and this insurance is non-refundable. There are no changes. There are no refunds. There's no changing your sail date. This is it. You are going on this cruise. And we are only able to hold it for that one day. So it has to be booked and paid for that day. We can't do a 3-day hold like we normally do. So, yeah. Actually, I am sorry. Maybe Chris should look at this and tell me. I think I'm actually wrong. The deposit is non-refundable. Oh, for concierge only? Is this different from? This actually might be different from what we've seen on the
suites and concierge rooms. Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was assuming this was the same as the Wish and the Treasure and the Destiny, which their deposits are all non-refundable. It looks like this one is refundable.
Yeah. For the other non-concierge, non-suites, all those things.
I apologize.
The wording is it's all in one sentence, so I do agree with you. That wording was very tricky right there.
Yeah.
But here we go. We worked through it together. So
that's why we need all the brains on this show, because some of us only are partial, and we all fit together and we make one good person.
Well, we've been doing all the inaugural cruises have been the same, that it was non-refundable. Right. So this one is a little bit different. And it's, this ship is going to be, it'll be interesting to see what there are going to be ultra Disney Cruise Line fans who want to be able to say they've been on every Disney cruise ship. Yeah. So we're going to get that. It's going to be interesting to see what the U.S. market is for this cruise ship.
Well, I'm going to be interested to see how. I'm sure it'll be addressed, or you have more information as travel agents than I do. But so like for me, somebody with high anxiety, the barrier. I always talk about the barriers to the travel. Like it's that sort of thing. Like my mother, it's impossible to get her on an airplane. Things like this,
Right.
And I think like, how can I make her life easier? And one of these things that immediately I'm thinking of, like, okay, if I wanted to book this as a regular person, this sounds incredible. You'd think. I know I've sold the idea of cruises before on being like, well, you get a highlight of the region of where you're going, and then you can go back and, do a different type of vacation. That's not really the case here. But so also with that, I'm wondering what sort of a transfer is going to be available. Like, are you landing in the airport, and then you're getting transferred over to this port, like where that port is in relation to is there a theme park close by, what hotels, stuff like that, where that element of the spider web you got to get through to get to the.
I think what sounds really amazing. I was talking to a friend about this, and I was saying, he would say, "Why would you go do that for 4 days that you don't even when there's so much to see in Asia?" And I totally get that. What I can imagine doing is maybe an Adventures by Disney or a National Geographic expedition trip. Yeah. And then after you've done all that adventure, like 3 or 4 nights on the Disney adventure would be really cool to kind of bookend. I don't think people are going to fly. I mean, it's a long flight over there. It's 20 something, at least from the East Coast. It's a long flight. And so if you're going to do that, I don't think you're just flying over for a 4-day, even if you did it back to back. You'd want to see Asia in some way, shape, or form. But
I want to know how hard it would be to go from Singapore to get to other, to do other parks that are on that side of the world. And I know there's certain.
I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be doing that.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that will be made easier, if that will be part of this program. I know we talk about land and sea and stuff like that, and I'm wondering how that will start translating its way over there. I mean, only time will tell. And maybe that's not even a thing they're even worried about right now, because I think how popular this ship will probably be in the beginning. But it seems really cool. It's really exciting.
As I mentioned, I have a good friend who lives in Singapore, and every time I talk to him, I realize how little I know about geography in that part of the world. Yeah. But to fly, say, if you wanted to go to Tokyo Disney and then do this, it's a more than 7-hour flight to get from Tokyo to Singapore to Tokyo, or vice versa. So it's not. You just need to think about how you would work those pieces, but it would be.
I always think too, if you've flown that far, I mean, the hard part is like some countries have like exit. You enter. I mean, it might only be exclusive to is it Shanghai? I could be wrong.
That's what I was going to say. It seems like Shanghai would be another option.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, some of them you have to fly into and out of in a certain order to be able to hit them, and it's easier to do it a certain way. But I'm wondering, you've flown that far over to Singapore, I mean, also you're so far on that side of the world, are we talking hop, skip, and jumps? Are we doing, puddle jumping and we're going from there to Tokyo to Alani to Disneyland? We're traveling around the world, baby. What are we doing?
I was literally thinking that it's like, okay, you could go to Disneyland and then you could go to Alani and then you could take the cruise on the Wonder up through the Fiji Islands to Australia.
I was just going to say Singapore is so close in relation to how far you've flown to Australia. It would, for me, it would be that thing where I'd be like, I think Australia is almost like a bucket list item. I mean, until I learned about all those deadly spiders and everything. But I do have friends that live there where I'm like, oh, this, and I think about a lot. There's a lot of Disney Australia fans. This is going to be a big deal for them to be able to, because it feels more accessible. I could be incorrect, but it's closer, so it's less of a flight. That sort of thing. It's over there. And I'm thinking like, well, I've flown this far. I might as well do the rest.
Add on a 7-hour flight. Sure, why not?
Yeah. At that point, it's going to feel like a 20-minute car ride after you've been
exactly
for that long.
Exactly.
So. But as we've said, Dreams Unlimited Travel can help get you booked on this what seems like a very, very exciting new type of ship in the Disney Cruise Line fleet. Elaine, if they want to book, if they want to reach out to you, how would they do that?
Elaine, ELAINE at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
And Chris?
And I'm Chris V. There's another Chris. So I'm Chris V for Chris Vorobek, Chris V at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
Well, I'm the only Rhino, and for some reason they included my last name and my email address, and I'll never let it go. It's been 9 years, and I'm like, I just want one that's just Rhino. But you don't need to email me about any of that. I'm just here to facilitate. So thank you, both of you, for having this conversation. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening or watching. I know this was a lot longer than we normally aim to have these shows, but like you've seen, this is a bigger ship and there's a lot to be excited about. So again, don't forget about Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you are watching this on YouTube and you want to click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And if you click that bell, you get notified whenever we do any sort of Disney content on this channel or otherwise. And obviously leave us some comments. Let us know questions you might have, topics for future episodes, things like that. If you're listening to the podcast, please, when you have a moment, please feel free to rate and review that wherever you listen to podcasts. That really helps us all out. That is going to do it for us, because we're bringing this ship to shore, and I'm just going to end this with a big old bon voyage, everyone.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.